कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे हरे।
जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सदि गौर वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव सदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृषभानुसुते
देवी
प्रणमामि
प्रणमामि
हरि।
हरि प्रिय।
तो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की
जय।
हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।
Are you? Hare Krishna, Rina ji.
Hare Krishna भैया, Hare Krishna everyone.
हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा।
Ajay, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण।
Cool. So we'll continue Srimad Bhagavatam. We started Adhyay 12 yesterday, and we are at Shlok 12 of the Adhyay 12, Cantos 1. So yesterday, we saw how Lord Krishna, Parikshit Maharaj, right, in Uttara's mom, he saw Lord Krishna coming towards him and saving him, right in the womb, right? और ये दर्शन महाराज परीक्षित ने किया, right, while he was about to be born, and फिर Lord Sri Krishna अंतर्धान हो गए। इसके बाद में so ततः सर्वगुणोदर के सानुकूल ग्रहोदय यज्ञे वंश धरः पांडुर भूयः पांडुरिवोजुषा. So thereupon, when all the good signs of the zodiac gradually evolved, the heir apparent of Pandu, who would be exactly like him in prowess, took birth. Right? So what we are seeing here is, the astronomically and the astrology, these days we don't pay too much attention, right? People don't look at all these stars, the so-called Kundali we call, right? However, it's even said in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? People who are expert, they know how the astronomical stars line up, how the astrology works. So, Sanu Kul Grahodaya. So, when all the zodiac signs lined up, because Maharaj Parikshit is about to be born. So, that's a great event, right? So, when that happened, that's when Parikshit Maharaj took birth. Okay, and then it's saying in this, like it's a great science. Okay. And so, of course, there are people who are misusing this science. That doesn't change anything, right? And as it says, like Maharaj Parikshit, or even the personality of Godhead appear in certain constellations of good stars, and thus the influences exerted upon the body, thus born at an auspicious moment. Yeah. So what we have is so Parikshit Maharaj took his birth just to be known as the great hero of Srimad Bhagavatam. So not just a great samrat, but a great devotee. And of course, we know how the Srimad Bhagavatam was first recited was Sukdev Goswami Ji Maharaj reciting it to Parikshit Maharaj. Mukesh?
तस्य प्रीतमना राजा विप्रे धर्मे कृपाधिभी जातकम कारयामास वाचयित्वा च मंगलम. King Yudhishthir, who was very satisfied with the birth of Maharaja Parikshit, had the purificatory process of birth performed. Learned Brahmanas, headed by Dhaumya and Kripa, recited auspicious hymns.
Right? So Dhaumya is their Kulguru, right? Dhaumya Rishi. And Kripacharya, of course, we all know Kripacharya.
Yeah.
Anilji?
जी हिरण्यम गाम मही मर्हि ग्रामान हस्तश्वान पतिर्वरान प्रादत्स्वनम च विप्रेभ्य प्रजातीर्थे सतीर्थविति. Upon the birth of his son, the king, who knew how, where, and when charity should be given, gave gold, land, villages, elephants, horses, and good food grains to the Brahmanas. Hare Krishna.
Right? So this is what, when Parikshit Maharaj is born, Maharaj Yudhishthir is doing all the charity and donation and everything. Hare Krishna, Siksha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Reena ji?
Tamuchur brahmanastra rajanam prashyanvitam esha yasmin prajatanto purunam pauravarshabha. The learned Brahmins, who were very satisfied with the charities of the king, addressed him as the chief amongst the Purus and informed him that his son was certainly in the line of descent from the Purus. Hare Krishna.
Right. So informed him that his son was certainly in the line of descent from the Purus. So this is all these Brahmins, and they used to be great Brahmins, right? The great rishis. So they know exactly what has happened. Ajay?
दैवे न प्रतिघातेन शुक्ले संस्था मुपेयेषु रातो वोन गृहार्थार्थ विष्णुना प्रभु विष्णुना. The Brahman said, the spotless son who has been restored by all powerful and all pervasive Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, in order to oblige you. He was saved when he was doomed to be destroyed by an irresistible supernatural weapon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So supernatural weapon, Brahmastra by Ashwathama, right? And the Brahmans know that, you know, he has been restored by none other than Lord Vishnu himself, right? Vishnu na Prabhu Vishnu. Okay.
मैं पढ़ूं? तस्मन्नम्य विष्णुरता इति लोके भविष्यति न संदेहो महाभाग्योवते महा. For this reason, this child will be well known in the world as one who is protected by the personality of Godhead. O most fortunate one, there is no doubt that this child will become the first-class devotee and will be qualified with all good qualities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So all those Rishi Brahmins are telling Maharaj Yudhishthir, he has been saved by none other than, right? Vishnu Rat is that protected by Lord Vishnu himself, right? So there is no doubt that he will be Mahabhagavato, right? A first-class devotee and Mahabhag. So he will become a first-class devotee. Is what? So not just the Samrat. Here the important thing is he is a first-class devotee. And you know, Swami here is being described like there are three grades of devotees. You see Mahabhagavat, Madhyam Adhikari and the Kaniksh Adhikari, right? And then it's described like how everything is defined here. And to what level, you know, what level of devotion classifies as what level of devotees. So that is described in this purport. You know, if you get a chance, definitely, go through that. But the most important thing, one which I really liked, was this here, right? So let's read this. Tarun, do you want to read?
Sure. The family in which a Mahabhagavata takes his birth is fortunate because due to the birth of a first-grade devotee, the members of the family, past, present, and future, up to 100 generations, become liberated by the grace of the Lord out of respect for his beloved devotee. Therefore, the highest benefit is done to one's family simply by becoming an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So what's being said here, and of course we have Rasik Shamli Prabhu ji who can explain more, right? But it's pretty clear that, so many times we see that, oh, someone has become a totally dedicated devotee of the Lord, right? Hare Krishna and all that, and then people think, oh, what a waste of the life. I mean, what is he going to do? How is he going to support his family? And all those things come up, right? Materialistically, we see so many things, we talk so many things. But here it's clearly said, like one who has become a devotee. I mean, there can be nothing better than this for a family, right? So not just for that family, but it says like up to 100 generations, and not just the generations to come up, even the past generations, right? So the past, future, and all that, which is the other example of this we have read, right, in Bhagavad Puran. So is the other example where someone is devotee, and so his past, present, and future generations are all got liberated. Who is that? Can you recollect? Like a great devotee, we read about him all the time, right? Narsingh Bhagwan protected him.
Bhakt Prahlad.
Prahlad, right? Prahlad Maharaj. So if you remember, when Bhakt Prahlad and the Lord Narsingh Bhagwan appeared, and he asked Prahlad Maharaj, like, what does he want? And then, but at that time he said, like, all his generations become liberated, past and present and future, right? So I think that's the power of a devotee. That's the power Lord himself gives so much respect for his beloved devotee. Yeah. Shiksha Prabhuji, पढ़ेंगे?
श्रीराज उवाच अप्येष वंश्याय न राजऋषीन् पुण्यश्लोकान् महात्मनः अनुवर्तिता स्वैद्याष्टाः साधुवादेन स उत्तमः. The good King Yudhishthira inquired, O great soul, will he become as saintly a king, as pious in his very name, and as famous and glorified in his achievements as others who appeared in the great royal family?
Right. So Maharaj Yudhishthira, I mean, he is so well known, but he's inquiring from the Brahmins and the Rishis, right? That, hey, it's like everyone, when someone is born, we ask all these questions, right? Even some of us, when we go to astrologists, we ask all, what is the future? How is going to become? I think Maharaj Yudhishthira is asking the same thing here. Will he become as saintly as a king? So not just a king, but as saintly king, right? Appears in his very name. ब्राह्मणा उचुः पाठः प्रजाविता साक्षा दीक्षाव कुरीव मानवः ब्रह्माण्यः सत्यसंदक्ष रामो दाशरथिर्यथा. So the learned Brahmins said, O son of Pritha, this child shall be exactly like King Ikshvaku, son of Manu, in mentoring all those who are born. And as for following the Brahminical principles, especially in being true to his promise, he shall exactly be like Rama. And with Rama, the personality of Godhead, the son of Maharaj Dashrath. So Ikshvaku is son of Manu. And then, of course, Lord Ram. So that's what Brahmins are saying, that he's going to be like that. I think this is a great purport where we get some knowledge about who really Ikshvaku is, right? And about Manu. So I think we'll read this purport. Yeah. So Mukesh, you want to read first?
Praja means the living being who has taken his birth in the material world. Actually, the living being has no birth and no death, but because his separation from the service to the Lord and due to his desire to lord it over material nature, he is offered a suitable body to satisfy his material desires. In doing so, one becomes conditioned by the laws of material nature, and the material body is changed in terms of its own work. The living entity thus transmigrates from one body to another in 8,400,000 species of life. But due to his being the part and parcel of the Lord, he not only is maintained with all necessary of life by the Lord, but also is protected by the Lord and his representative, the saintly kings. Hare Krishna.
Anilji?
Yeah. These saintly kings give protection to all the prajas or living beings to live and to fulfill their terms of imprisonment. Maharaja Parikshit was actually an ideal saintly king because while touring his kingdom, he happened to see that a poor cow was about to be killed by the personified Kali, whom he at once took to task as a murderer. This means that even the animals were given protection by the saintly administrators, not from any sentimental point of view, but because those who have taken their birth in the material world have the right to live. All the saintly kings, beginning from the king of sun, globe down to the king of the earth, are so inclined by the influence of the Vedic literatures. Hare Krishna.
Ajay? Ajay, you're on mute.
The Vedic literatures are taught in higher planets also, as there is reference in the Bhagavad Gita 4.1 about the teachings to the sun god Vivasan by the Lord, and such lessons are transferred by disciples' succession as it was done by the sun god to his son Manu, and from Manu to Maharaja Ikvashu. These are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma, and the Manu referred to herein is the seventh Manu, who is one of the Prajapatis, those who create progeny, and he is the son of the sun god. He is known as the Vaivasva Manu. He had 10 sons, and Maharaja Ikshvaku is one of them. Maharaja Ikshvaku also learned Bhakti Yoga as taught in Bhagavad Gita from the father Manu, who got it from his father, the sun god.
Sun god, right? So I think that's why. So the reason we are reading this is to understand, right, who is Maharaja Ikshvaku is, right? He's son of Manu, he's son of son, the son of the sun god, right? The sun god, his son is Manu, and we all have heard about him. And from Manu to Maharaj Ikshvaku. But the important thing is there are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma, right? Excuse me. And how long is one day of Brahma? Do we remember? How long is one day of Brahma? 4 billion, 32 million, right? Whatever. Remember? So one day of Brahma and then one night is, so the total one day and night of Brahma is 8 billion, 64 million something, right? So in that, in one day, 4 billion, 32 million, whatever, years, there are 14 Manus born. And the Manu referred here is the seventh Manu. and he is the son of sun god. So he is known as the Vevasvat Manu. And then he had 10 sons. So Vevasvat Manu had 10 sons, and one of that son is Maharaja Ikshvaku. He is one of them. So it's good to know that. There'll be some quiz in future satsangs. So just let's see how if you can remember this. So let's read further. Rinaji?
Maharaja Ikshvaku also learned Bhakti Yoga as taught in the Bhagavad Gita from his father Manu, who got it from his father, the sun god. Later on, the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita came down by disciplic succession from Maharaj Ikshvaku. But in course of time, the chain was broken by unscrupulous persons, and therefore it again had to be taught to Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So all the Vedic literatures are current from the very beginning of creations of the material world. And thus the Vedic literatures are known as Aparasya, not made by man. The Vedic knowledge was spoken by the Lord and first heard by Brahma, the first created living being within the universe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So such an important thing. Like people call all this mythology and all that thing, right? But Srimad Bhagavad has been clearly mentioned how the Bhagavad Gita has been coming. And in Bhagavad Gita, if you read, it's in one of the shlok, Lord Krishna himself says that this is the same knowledge which I had spoken to sun god. Yeah, and which is the same thing which is teaching to, right? So it has been coming from, right, Maharaja Ikshvaku, and even before that from Lord Sun himself, and even before that to Lord Brahma himself, because Lord Brahma created this universe, and since then all these Vedic literatures are current basically, right, from the beginning. As we see, Maharaja Ikshvaku is one of the sons of Vevasvat Manu, and Vevasvat Manu is son of sun god, right? And Maharaja Ikshvaku is one of the son of Vevasvat Manu. Vevasvat Manu had 10 sons.
Yeah, here they say that he had 100 sons, and up here they say that he had 10 sons.
No, okay, let's see that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Manu actually, the seventh Manu, who is one of the Prajapatis, and he is the son of sun god. So the Vyavastha Manu he had 10 sons, and Maharaja Ikshvaku was one of them. Or फिर Maharaja Ikshvaku had 100 sons, right? That's what he's saying here in the next line in here. One of the sons,
Maharaja, yeah. So yeah, right. So Vevasvat Manu had 10 sons, and Ikshvaku was one of them, but Ikshvaku had 100 sons.
Oh, Ikshvaku had 100 sons. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he prohibited meat eating and all that. And so then, of course, describes Manu, right? The Manu mentioned in this verse is the father of Ikshvaku, is the seventh Manu of the name Vevasvat Manu, the son of sun god Vivaswan, to whom Lord Krishna instructed the teachings of Bhagavad Gita prior to his teaching them to Arjuna. Yeah. So mankind, as we know, is the descendant of Manu. The Vevasvat Manu had 10 sons, and they are named also Ishkvaku, Nabhag, Drishta, Saryati, Narsiyanta, Nabhag, Dishta, Karusha, Prashada, and Vasuma. I won't be asking you to remember those 10 names, but we should know that Vevasvat Manu had 10 sons, and one of them is Ikshvaku. That is significant because Ikshvaku is the one who established the Suryavanshi hierarchy, and that's where Lord Ram was born as well. Okay, so Lord's incarnation, Matsya incarnation, was advented during the beginning of Vevasvat Manu's reign. Yeah, he learned the principles of Bhagavad Gita from his father Vivaswan, who is the sun god, and he re-instructed the same to his son Maharaja Ikshvaku. In the beginning of the Treta Yuga, the sun god instructed devotional service to Manu, and Manu in his turn instructed to Ikshvaku for the welfare of the whole human society. Yeah, so it's good to know. Lord Ram, of course, we all know about him. Yeah, I think we'll end here since we only have 2 minutes. but a lot of good knowledge and good understanding about how the literatures have been coming through. Yeah, let's we'll continue our Damodar Stram from yesterday. So let's
Namaste Damne Stuladipti Damne Vadiyudaraya Vishwasya Damne Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantanilaya Devaya Tuvyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantanilaya Devaya Tuvyam Namaste Studamne Spuradipti Damne Vadiyudaraya Vishwasya Damne Namaste Studamne Spuradipti Damne Vadiyudaraya Vishwasya Damne Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantanilaya Devaya Tuvyam Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantanilaya Devaya Tuvyam Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna